Welcome to The Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington. Rolling, Tony.
Want to see me, Captain?
Yeah. Lopez got some new information on that DB that Malinsky found.
What bothers us is that the chemical he was using is something we haven't seen out there before. There were 2 more DBs brought in today who used the same chemical. Both from the Royal Street Park area, both DOA.
And not your usual ODs either. One of the victims had a pretty small dose. That's why we turned it over to Ozzy.
Could it be a variation on something you've seen before?
Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest today is an award-winning veteran actor, writer, and producer. His career has spanned decades with his work on stage, screen, and television. In addition, he's also acted in scores of TV commercials and model and print advertisement. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tony Winters. Greetings, Tony, and welcome to The Actor's Choice. Definitely.
Ron, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me, my friend.
My pleasure. Wouldn't have it no other way. First of all, the Academy Awards last night.
Oh, we're going to start there. I had the great misfortune of being first up after last night's fiasco. You want to hear my thoughts?
Oh, of course, by all means.
Well, you know what? I made a post this morning on Facebook which says it best. If I may read.
Please.
I was at once shocked, saddened, and dismayed. Smith completely overreacted to a very benign joke. While I certainly follow the entertainment industry, I don't follow the private lives of celebrities. I had no idea about her alopecia until social media lit up last night. I'll give Rock the benefit of the doubt. Was Smith possibly projecting his abusive father onto Rock? Perhaps trying to handle it in a gangster way Tupac would had in Jada's eyes? I also found it cowardly. Easy to assault a 140-pound Rock. I don't think he would have tried that with Steve Harvey, Mike Epps, or Corey Holcomb. It was embarrassing to see my brothers engaged in such a juvenile act. His bad judgment and poor behavior marred not only his win, but producer Will Packer's beautifully Afrocentric and extraordinarily inclusive ceremony. I vividly recall the days when Bob Hope and Johnny Carson were perennially the hosts and one would rarely see a black face in the audience, let alone presenting or winning. It was a lily white affair. We have made so much progress as a people, as an industry, and as a country. Last night's Oscars reflected that until Smith ruined the party for everyone. He should be ashamed of himself and should face criminal charges. Chris Rock was visibly shaken, but handled an impossible situation with professionalism, grace, and aplomb.
Man, you was ready. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Well,
Tony, that's great.
That's how I feel, man.
Oh,
and I know we don't generally get into things of this nature on your show.
Oh yeah, we talk about it. If the shoe fits, we wear it. You know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I've met Will. I've been in Chris Rock's company, and there's no physical comparison. Like I said, it's easy to walk up to a scrawny little guy and smack him.
Okay.
It's much tougher to walk up to a 200-pound guy like me and try something like that. But anyway.
Well spoken. Indeed.
Those are my thoughts.
Okay. Well, thank you, Tony. Appreciate you allowing us that. Where were you born at, sir?
San Diego, California.
San Diego, California, the home of a whole lot of sailors, huh?
You know, it was a sleepy little cow town when I was born, and now it's this like sprawling metropolis, you know?
Yes.
But I was raised in Detroit, in the Motor City.
Got you.
That's the place I think of when I think of home. I think of Detroit.
Reason I say San Diego, I'm retired from the Navy, and that's why I remember San Diego. That's how I got in there. Tony, we just saw one of your roles. It was called Hunter. The year was 1992. Let's go back a ways when you were bitten by the acting bug. From what I saw, you had a marvelous career on stage, performing such plays as Guys and Dolls and Don't Bother Me, I Can't Cope. You did all that stuff.
Well, you know what? When I got to San Diego in the early 80s, my Aunt Marva lives there, and Aunt Marva she knew that I had this desire to be an actor, and she started encouraging me to audition for plays that were being, put on throughout the city, and you know, Equity Waiver Productions, and I found a man who became my mentor. His name was Dr. Floyd Gaffney. He just put me in play after play after play. I did Spell Number 7 with him. I did the aforementioned Guys and Dolls. I did Moon on a Rainbow Shawl, and and a few others. And he was really responsible for giving me this foundation that I had. And I'll tell you, the importance of doing live theater was that when I got to Los Angeles, I had no money. I had $35. Quite frankly, I had $35. And I had no job and no professional union membership. But the one thing I did know, Ron, is that I could act. And that foundation that I built in San Diego, you know, carries me to this day.
Tony, the thing is, one day when you and I get some time, you and I need to talk about what you just said. I have a bone to pick with a lot of actors because they'll come here to LA in search of whatever. They'll do television, they'll do film, but they won't get up on that stage.
Well, I think that's where the rubber meets the road. I think that is the acid test for an actor, man. When you have studied that character and, you know, developed that character, and you get up there with a bunch of really talented people, and you create this, and you create this vision, and you allow your audience to suspend their disbelief with you for 2 hours. It's a wonderful experience between the audience and the performers that there's just no substitute for. And it's the best training ground.
Oh, yes, no question. No question.
The best training ground.
Ain't no take two. How do you do? Ain't no take two.
No. And I've been in many situations on stage where we needed one.
Yeah, got you. But you got to do something.
Yeah.
Tony, in my research, I found that in 1978, you were watching the pilot for a new CBS program called The White Shadow. And it had an impact on you.
Yes. You know, at that time on television, when you saw young black men on television, it was usually in the guise of a situation comedy. It was, you know, What's Happening. It was Good Times. It was Sanford and Son. And, you know, it was that era. That's My Mama.
Yes.
But The White Shadow was different. You know, these kids were about the same age as me at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they were in high school. I was in high school. And not only did it resonate with me in that way, but I also saw that, and I'm not really a comic performer.
Mm-hmm.
I know where, you know, what side of the toast my bread is buttered on. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm largely a dramatic actor, and seeing these kids every week, week in, week out, you know, play these characters in these situations. Yes. It just really impacted me, and it let me know that it was possible to go to Hollywood and become an actor.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
I think you got something on the order of close to 100 acting credits right now.
Yeah, close to, but who's counting?
Who's counting? Who's counting? Well, to me, I look at it as auditions. You know, if you have 100, you got 100 auditions, at least 100 auditions, you know.
Yeah, it's actually well over 100 because I've had multiple appearances on different shows. So we're well over 100 at this point. But again, who's counting?
Who's counting? Who's counting? You, in 1987, you did a program called a movie called Penitentiary 3. That was your first break-in, your first IMDb that you got. But you've had some marvelous roles over the years. One of them was a TV series in 2016 called Queen Sugar.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that one.
Yes.
Tell us about that, please.
Well, it's kind of a long story, but I'll try and nutshell it for you. Okay. This is why it's so important not to be very careful about saying no. You know, my North Star when I started acting was I only wanted to do things my grandmother could see, you know, and I didn't want to do anything that was derogatory to Black people. So those were the only times I would say no. So my then agent called me with an audition for a movie that shot in Atlanta called Thank You for Your Service.
Yes. And
I flew to Atlanta, auditioned, and I booked it. And they called me and they said, well, Tony, we got good news and bad news for you. I said, what's the good news? They said, well, you booked Thank You for Your Service. I said, oh, that's fantastic. What could be the bad news? They said, well, the role you auditioned for, you didn't get. They want you for the cab driver.
Yeah.
The cab driver, man, I did not fly to Atlanta to be a cab driver. So anyway, I fly that. They said you can't turn this movie down. You got to do it. I told them I was going to pass on it, but they said no, you should do this one because it's Jason Hall is directing, and you know he was nominated for an Academy Award for another film. The name escapes me right now. But anyway, while I went and shot the movie, and that same casting director called me back for to audition for NCIS New Orleans. Beautiful guest star role, which I did not get.
Okay.
Called me a couple of weeks later for a guest star on NCIS New Orleans, which I booked. Yes. So I fly to New Orleans and I'm shooting. And while I'm there, my agent calls me and asks me what I'd like to read for some show called Queen Sugar.
Yes.
And I saw that it was the role of the diner owner, the proprietor of the High Yellow.
Okay.
Now, why anyone would cast me as the proprietor of the High Yellow, I have no idea. But anyway, I read and they booked me, and it just really changed the game for me, man.
Got you.
You know, I had a chance to play with the wonderful Tina Lifford, Dawn Lynn Gardner, and Kofi Cerebo.
Okay.
And it was just really, I look at my career now as, you know how AD and BC and AD, I look at my career as before Queen Sugar and after.
And after,
Sugar.
right.
Yeah, because things have really changed since that role.
Last year, you did the role of a morally bankrupt fellow named Wes Martin in a movie called National Champions.
Yes.
Tell us about that, please.
Oh, man. For one, it's the best script I ever read, best role I ever booked in a mainstream motion picture. And I had a chance to play with, you know, Academy Award winner J.K. Simmons and my new friend David Koechner, Dave Maldonado, and Jeffrey Donovan, who's now on Law and Order.
Yes.
And it was just the kind of movie that I came to Hollywood to do. And I played Wes Martin, the head of the Big 12 football conference.
Okay.
Yeah.
We just happen to have a clip.
Okay. Let's roll it,
Tony. Roll it.
Marcus, what's his character?
He's a good kid. He's just, like a lot of kids his age, maybe he's a little too fond of the spotlight and its perks.
Well, hell, if I was the best QB in the country, I think I'd be bouncing him out of my apartment 3 at a time. Huh?
LaMarcus is not a troublemaker, okay? I want to be very clear on this. LaMarcus is a good person. He's just a kid with too much power who, I don't know, had a bad tweet.
And interview.
Good.
There's a lot more there, but
And we give us 30 seconds. Yes, we got just a few more minutes left. Back in 2020, I understand you made a directorial debut in a project called 2 Degrees.
Yes. My very good friend Carl Gilliard tapped me to write and direct episode 204 of his new show, 2 Degrees. It's a wonderful digital series. It kind of chronicles Carl's life. It's who is thrice married, and so it's about his journey between his second marriage and his third. The time he spent dating and you know, resolving the issues with his ex.
Yes.
My episode is called "I Got the Funny," in which Carl wanted an episode where he got a chance to do stand-up comedy.
Gotcha.
So he's challenged to do a night of stand-up comedy at an open mic night by a very talented guy named Dino Shorte, who brought down the house for us. And I was able to bring in some of my friends. Carl brought in some of his friends. And anyway, it's just it's a fun watch.
Got you. Unfortunately, we're out of time, sir. We need to get you back again. Thank you for being here today very much. Best wishes in the future. Now, would you please go out and get 100 more IMDb credits, please?
I'm trying, man.
I know you is. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Winters. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come once again for the Actor's Choice Easter giveaway. Now, here's your chance to receive a $100 gift card as the first place winner and a $50 gift card as the second place winner. To enter, just go to our website once a day, which started March the 13th through April the 10th. Our website address is, and I love to say this, www.theactorschoicela.org/ Easter Giveaway 2022. Let me say that one more again. www.theactorschoice.org/Easter Giveaway 2022. Now, 2 random winners will be chosen, and they will be notified ASAP by email and or text. So the winner's name will be announced on our website, web series, and our social media sites on Monday, April the 11th. So please, good luck to everybody. Be the winners of the Actors Choice Easter Giveaway. Roll it, Tony.
Oh, look, she's blushing. What's your name, sweetheart?
Ángela María Guzman de López.
Modelo, cantante.
Cantante.
Ay, qué linda.
That means singer.
Ay, bendito.
Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest today is a new voice for a new generation. Her work personifies the social and cultural diversity reminiscent of the now and necessary for the future. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome writer, director, producer, and actor, Jackie Quinones. Jackie, welcome to the Actors Choice. Greetings to you. Glad you're here.
Hi, greetings. Thank you. That was such a lovely introduction.
Well, that's you, lady. You did it. It's, all the publicist did was handed me a piece of paper, and all that stuff was well.
Thank you.
First of all, gotta go. How'd you feel about last night's Academy Awards?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me that question.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's what they paid me for.
Yeah. You know, I understand where he was coming from, but I just think there's a time and a place and a way to approach everything. And I don't know that that was the right decision. You know, that's sort of where I'm coming from. And I'm sure he knows that too. I mean, it was very evident in his speech. So, yeah.
We'll see what happens from now on. There might be some law.
What about you?
What I thought about it, I've covered the Academy Awards for about 8 years in a row. I miss being down there now. And I'm looking out beside my windows, rating cats and dogs here in LA. So those people picking that red carpet up today, I got to get that up real quick. But no, there is a quality about the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, AKA the Oscar. And like you say, behave yourself. Come in there, have fun. You know, that's one of the things they do. I notice when they say, and the winner is, they got a camera on all the people. And they give the name, and it's not you. So, but you got to smile. You got to smile. You might, inside you pissed as heck, but you got to smile. It's the game we play. It's the game we play. Okay.
Right.
Now, reading your resume, madam, was a real pleasure. You have done a lot in a short time. Let's go back to where you grew up at. Where was that?
Queens.
Queens. Oh, there's Queens.
There it is.
Oh.
So Queens in Long Island City, Sunnyside area.
Yes.
And then I lived briefly in Astoria, Queens. And then I moved with my family to Westchester County, Yorktown Heights. So a little bit of city, a little bit of suburb, you know, got a nice mix in there.
I kind of like Queens because I went to Aviation High School. You don't remember that school?
Oh, of course I remember that school.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, he's wearing uniforms.
Cool.
Yes, oh yeah.
I love Queens. I mean,
Queens
it's what gave me my toughness. So.
Okay. Now, my research tells me you made it through high school and later enrolled in Penn State University with a scholarship. Now, what was that like?
It's a great school, wonderful school. But I had to leave. I had to leave because it was pretty racist. I don't know. I think a lot of people don't know that Penn State is actually in the center of Pennsylvania, and the hub of campus is actually the center of Pennsylvania. So it's surrounded entirely by farmland. And a lot of the people that go to Penn State don't live far from Penn State. So it's very different than you might think. And I don't know if it's changed since then, but at the time it was pretty racist. And so, I had to stand up for my values and I left. My mom wasn't happy about it though.
But you did something else. You came back to New York City. You discovered an affinity for hip hop. Here's where it started. What happened?
Yeah, well, I was already walking to class, at Penn State with DMX in my headphones. So, I think I was always a writer and a poet, and my sister was a big fan of hip hop music, and my poetry sort of became rap, and then little by little I started writing, and then I met someone at the new college I went to, and one thing led to another, and I started working in the music industry.
Yes. And it was during that time at CUNY Hunter College in Manhattan when you landed your first job in the entertainment industry. You worked with a guy by the name of Sean P. Diddy Combs, Bad Boy Entertainment
Daddy. Yeah, that was a fun time, man. That was such
Bad
a fun
boy. He was
time.
on the show last night. The Academy.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he looked good.
Yeah. I thought you meant your show. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
No, we'll get that next week.
Yeah, I haven't seen him or anything in a long time. Yeah.
Got you. Now, okay, tell us what you learned when it meant that hard work was required for real success.
I think we think that hard work is doing the work that you're supposed to do based on the job that you have. But in reality, hard work is doing the work that you want to do for the job you want to have. And I didn't learn that until I started creating my own content. And I realized I don't know what I'm doing, but the only way I'm going to get to learn and get to do what I want to do is by actually doing the work. So I can't sit around waiting for somebody to give me the opportunity or the go ahead. So yeah, it's really about giving yourself the green light and doing the work.
I like your attitude, lady. I like your attitude. And then you met a guy. I'm sorry.
I said, thank you.
You're welcome. And then you met a guy named Mario Yellowman Winans, one of the famed Hitman music producers.
Mario.
He turned you onto some stuff.
Yeah, Mario. I love me some Mario Winans. He took me under his wing and helped me with my writing. And he actually, I had dabbled in acting here and there when I was younger, but it wasn't something I really considered until Mario was like, I think you should be an actress. And I was like, really? So he got me my first audition. I booked the role, and then I was like, this is it. This is what I want, because hip hop and rapping was really a character for me, and I wanted to branch out of that character and try other ones. So yeah, man, to this day I thank him for that. I'm so grateful to him for having shown me my path, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
That movie was called And Be Real.
Yes, it was. Directed by Lisa France, who is doing some great things right now. We're still friends. She's a wonderful human. So yeah.
So now by this time, you got yourself one IMDb credit, acting credit. But don't you know?
I got one IMDb credit. You know, I was in there like.
The next step to your path of success was 2 syndicated TV shows called American Latino TV and Latination.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's taking it back. Yeah, that was hosting. I was hosting, and I was a correspondent. And that was my first experience with television and independent television. And that was a great experience. I loved it. I got to meet a lot of other Latinos that were coming up at the time and that are doing really big things right now. So it was great. Or Latinx talent, I should say, or Latine talent. Yeah. So
Latinos did very well last night at the Academy Awards last night.
Yes. I'm so excited.
Hey. That's how you do it.
Yes. Let's go, baby.
It's good to see that. It's good to see the time that things are. People are now seeing things that it's taking a while, but hey, we're getting there. We're getting there with it.
Exactly. Right?
Now you got it. Indeed. Now you got a role with a guy named, I call him Snips. Wesley Snipes is his real name. He was there last night. He was there. Luis Guzman, Sybil Shepherd. You did Mario Van Peebles' feature, Hard Luck.
Yes. Working with Wes was incredible. He's such a lovely human. Like, he was so giving and made me feel so comfortable. It was my first time on a real film set. On a really big film set. It was a large production, and I was, the second lead, and it was very nerve-wracking, but having someone like Wesley be my co-star who really helped to walk me through it was it was a blessing in disguise. So he was really dope. Yeah, he was fun to work with.
Got you. Who are some of your favorite roles that you like to do? What kind of roles?
Ooh, what kind of roles I'd like to play?
Yes.
Ooh, nobody's asked me this in so long. I would love to play some kind of female superhero. Definitely. I think everybody wants to do that. I'd like to. I think I'm writing a lot of the stuff I want to do also. So, what else would I like to do? A cop. I would love to play a cop. Yeah. But like a you know, forlorn and jaded, like broken cop, and probably like a comedic role at some point. I don't know. There's so many.
Yes,
So many. Come back to me.
Right. And the beautiful thing is that you are a writer. That's the beautiful thing about it.
Yeah,
Indeed.
I am. Yeah, luckily I was blessed with a pen, so
Yes.
as we all are.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you get writer's blank, how do you solve that?
Taking a long walk and thinking about how the story progresses, what the character wants to do and why the character wants to do it. It's really all about developing character. As soon as you know who your character is, you know the choices they're going to make. And sometimes you get stuck, but you go, okay, where is she from and what would she do in this situation? What's her job? Where did, or he for that matter, or they. So yeah, I usually take a walk or I'll sit on it or I'll watch something else or I'll, find inspiration through talking about it or going to see art or listen to music or anything really, just inspiration is everywhere. You just have to look for it.
Amen. Amen. I like to write, but when I get a writer's block, you know what I do? I reach for my wallet, open it up, look at it, and get start talking like that. Need that money.
Exactly. Yeah, that helps too.
Helps all the time. Helps all the time. The year was 2018, madam. You did a film called Sick. Can you tell us about that?
I did, yes. Sick was born of a dream that I had that was pretty violent. And I immediately put pen to paper and I had written a feature of it as well. But the short concept just kind of caught the eye of several people that I really wanted to work with, including Jesse Garcia, who is a phenomenal actor. And he really liked it. And so we decided to make the short. And also it was my, foray into actually making my first film. So it was very exciting and it was a very, very rewarding experience.
We just happen to have a clip. Roll it, Tony.
There's so much disease in the world. If you leave your door open long enough, some of it sneaks in, like the most widely spread plague in the world. Love. It's my favorite. I lost myself again this afternoon.
Wow. Okay.
Cool.
Well,
you can see it on here. Nice.
Oh, yes. You got a lot of stuff. Question. Puerto Ricans in Hollywood. How do they come together?
I'm actually part of a group called Caribeña Creatives, which is incredible, run by a friend of mine named Marilyn Camacho. And we are all sort of coming together, not just Puerto Ricans, but Caribbeans in general. I feel like Caribbeans don't have a voice as much in Hollywood. And so that group is bringing together a bunch of us, including my publicist, Jasmine Espada, who actually helped me get on the show. And a lot of other people that I'm working with, someone who helped me with my feature writing wise. And, it's a lovely community of Caribbean women that are all just helping each other out. And it's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got the right publicist, Jasmine Espada. That's the lady.
Yeah.
The right lady. Sure enough.
You heard it here first.
Oh, yes, definitely. We got just a few more minutes left, but you are doing a movie now called Miles Away. I understand this is a great. Can you tell us about it, please?
Yeah, so it is about a dreamer, a female dreamer who's a rideshare driver, but she is on a collision course with reality because she's dealing with this thankless job, no money, and a sister with mental illness. And throughout the film, it's really about resilience and learning to love yourself through the female gaze. And the underlying themes are about, the disparity between the rich and the poor, mental illness and how that contributes to homelessness, and also sort of, how expensive it is to be poor. Money means access, and that includes access to mental health facilities. And so, do with that what you will.
This movie, in addition, you have 3 other movies in post-production. That's a lot of work. How do you like having 4 films in progress at the same time?
You just keep working. I don't know. You just keep working. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm blessed. I'm lucky. I'm so grateful. Yeah.
Indeed, indeed. I understand that Luis Guzman, you guys have got back together again. You just got him in on that particular movie.
Yes. So
Yes.
Louis is a lovely, wonderful, dear friend of mine. And yes, he is playing one of the characters in Miles Away. He's actually, and you're hearing it here first, he's actually hopping on as a producer as well. So I'm very excited about that. He's planning to produce my next film as well. So yeah, we're developing we've always had a great working relationship, but I think it's developing into something a little bit bigger and better now. And I'm excited about that. And he's so fun to work with. He's the best. Yeah.
Well, thank you for being with us today. Like I said earlier, you do have one heck of a resume. Good luck with your future career.
Thank you so much. Likewise.
Okay. Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, Jackie Quinones. There's the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Roll it, Tony.
An experience is support real hip-hop when it's about politics, not shooting people with a Glock to start a revolution, making a point and solution about how to end wars and the Constitution and all the government schemes and fix the pollution. And we need the females to end prostitution, make a difference for America, and we need freedom. Before the government start an acts of treason, they use Obama as a scapegoat to tell more lies and everything they be saying, but they don't realize that we.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we would like to go back in time 5 years to the year 2017. This was when the Actor's Choice first began a weekly TV program. I was the host, the writer, and the producer. But without that engineer, it just don't happen. It just don't happen. He's a real man. He's the guy that makes sure that it gets on the air and gets on the air right. And this gentleman who you're about to receive, he is the guy that was my engineer there. I will never, there he is in the picture over there in the left over there. That's him. You'll see what he looks like in just a few moments. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a patient, a hardworking fella who made us look G-double-O-D. We was looking good. That's what engineers do, ladies and gentlemen. They make you look good. His name, Laron Daviston, now AKA Laron Pierce. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is. Greetings, Laron. Good to see you again. There's that smile. You got that smile, man. You got that smile. And welcome to the Actor's Choice on this side of the microphone, please.
Thank you so much, Ron. Thank you for having me, man. It's awesome, man. The Actor's Choice, man. It's legacy and it's history, you know what I mean? So it was an honor for Ron to have me as his engineer at RMC at the time. You know, it's always been a pleasure, Ron.
Indeed. We had some fun. Can you please tell us, okay, here's a photo that we like to show. The first one, these are some of the guests at the original there you go. There's me sitting up there. Oh yeah. There's a guy there in the back. We will talk about him in just a second.
Yes,
there's
sir.
Roland Bynum from KGLH. And there's April Sutton right there. We'll have as a guest next week. So again, these are just some of the beginnings. Next photo, please. That would be a gentleman by the name of Johnny Morris. Johnny Morris is no longer with us. Man. He was a godsend. He made sure. You tell us about Johnny Morris, please.
Man, so okay, I don't think I told you this, but I am the owner's nephew of Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. Herb Hudson is my uncle. He actually introduced me to the studio, and I actually met Johnny through the studio. And from then on, he was my mentor. He actually was the reason why I started the only hip hop show at the time, and he took me in as his son, you know what I mean, that he never had, you know. We always had meetings, we always had crack jokes, and I always played a lot of my music, and I had like diss records at the time when I was playing for him. He always laughing, cracking jokes and all that. He actually really admires my work of music, and not just music, but just how I engineer radio shows, just like the Actor's Choice, you know. It was really some good times in RMC. Unfortunately, it been closed down since 2016, so.
Sure miss him. I can remember us going into the studio. Everything was on time, and we had no problems. Everything worked out well.
Yes, sir.
And it was working with you guys. Tell our viewers, if you would, where were we working at? There was a studio. Where was the studio located at?
The studio was located it was across the street from Roscoe's. It used to be.
Yes, it was. Roscoe's.
It was two buildings. It was one in RMC, of course, and then you had the Brownstone Bistro. Unfortunately, that's no longer there as well. So they've been gone since 2020, since COVID hit. Yeah, since COVID hit, they've been gone. So, yeah.
Wow. Can you go to the next photo, please? Now there's who's that guy on the right there? That's
Bill Duke.
Yeah, and who's that little lady right there? That's my friend, Rita Shelby. Yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we used to have it set up that way. That sign that you see behind you right there, ladies and gentlemen, it's sitting on my wall right here. We don't use it now. We do it electronically, but there it is on the wall. And these are just some of the guests who we had them. We had some good guests. We were consistent. Right now we are sitting at number 293 episodes that we've done so far in 5 years. It's a pleasure doing this show. I know every Monday we put it to get together for Monday. Tony is he's our man. He's our engineer. He's the CEO of this organization that we're with now, and we're very gracious to have him with us. But we had some great times. All the people I've worked with in this business, that's what I like, hardworking people. And it's working with, and to have you here today, if you see me do one of these different things, don't pay it no mind. It's just Brewington getting all upset because it was some good times that we had. Where were you born at, sir?
I was born and raised in Torrance. I was born in Torrance. I was raised out in Cali, like from Inglewood, from not Long Beach, just everywhere in California, basically, like South Central area.
South Central.
Now I'm in Culver City, so.
Oh yeah. Now, back in those days, changes have been, we've seen a lot of changes, but one of them is that you are what they call an artistic person. Please tell us what that means.
Artistic person. Well, I used to do a lot of things, and I was diagnosed with autism at the age of 4. I did things a lot of people wouldn't imagine. Other people wouldn't imagine. Like who in the world makes boots out of paper? That's a story to tell too, because like I used to make like paper toys. Like my parents didn't like buy me toys as a kid. I usually make toys out of paper, and just to have and collect them. I think I still have one of those in my closet somewhere. But yeah, and just being a part of like the music industry, and when I started like rapping at age 10, Scoop Low was the one that inspired me to rap and freestyling and doing battle rap and stuff like that. And I just been honing my talent ever since middle school and high school, and things went up from there. Now I'm a radio personnel and interviewing guests on the Only Hip Hop Show and stuff like that. And yeah, and now I'm actually a pro wrestling student at Santino Bros Wrestling Academy. Shout out to Joey Chaos, Jezebel Romo, and Mongo Santino.
Right. We'll show a video cut in a little bit. We'll get right back to that. TA, we call him. Is that the new name, TA?
TA, it means Test Avalon. So the real name of Test Avalon is Testian Lance Avalon. So that's going to be the name. That's why people call me TA. Woo. TA's up in his place.
Lord, if I could just hug you to say thank you. Laron, tell us, you are an underground hip hop artist. What does that mean?
Well, I'm not in a mainstream or anything like that. So I've been underground since I was born, basically. I would say like as an underground hip hop artist, like unknown and people like actually know like, well, for music, like even like R&B and other type of genres, it's kind of like when you're underground, it's like you're unheard of. Like nobody has ever heard of you. But sometimes like people speak about conscious things or political things. Things are deeper from like things like topics are like way deep or storytelling. Than what you're used to from like the mainstream and like the stuff that rappers and singers talk about today.
Interesting. Are you retired from music?
As of right now, yes.
Oh, what a loss!
Yeah, it was fun when it lasted. The Diary of Laron Pierce was the last EP that I released last year. It was very romantic. It was the very first time like I actually sung in the project like this, and it's like something that was so amazing that it was a story to tell. So basically, I used to work at Roscoe's, right? And I was working with my dad, and you met my dad once.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, David. Shout out to David. You know, I was coming from church, and I met this fine young lady. She was like 4 years older than me at the time. I was 16 when I was crushing on her, and I started liking her and stuff like that. And I was a host, and my dad was like stalking me as a hog, trying to push me away from women at the time. Because, I was 16 years old. I mean, it is what it is. I was a minor.
Right.
And it was a story that I never told. And I wanted to put it out there. If I wanted to end my music career, I wanted to end it off with this project. And so my crush is my very first crush. And she actually heard the project. And she said it was fire. And I actually told her prior, and everything that represents the flower and the attire, and basically like the details of what she does and what she looks like and stuff like that, and the project on the songs and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. Quite a story. You can write a song about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many albums have you done so far?
Well, I've done one, but I have multiple EPs. I have an internet album, which you just played, which Ultimate Experience Reprise, which was from my underground journey. I wouldn't count that. I think it was a mixtape because I actually recorded those songs with an iPhone at the time and mixed and mastered it as well. And it's funny because I actually engineered my own songs. Like as a kid, I didn't know what I was doing until I went to LA Film School at the time and graduated. And that's how I got into RMC as well. So.
Where we say get that education, especially when you're doing something that you love to do, you put your best foot forward. Definitely. Yes. Now, there's an organization that you work with. It's called the Only Hip Hop Show. Can you tell us about that?
Well, Johnny Morris, man, he actually inspired me to do this show, and unfortunately, he's no longer with us. He gave me this idea. He was like, why don't you start your own radio show? And I said, I've been really wanting to do a show for a very long time. I was like, yeah, you family, go ahead and start. So the show was called the Hip Hop Show at the time. And my first interviewer was Albrecht. He was a DJ and a rapper at the time. I interviewed him. It's actually available on Only Hip Hop Show's YouTube page. You guys can check it out.
Yeah.
The Only Hip Hop Show. I interview a lot of guests. Shout out to Veda. He's also a minister now. He used to be a gang member and all that, but he raps and does all the production now. So he actually was my first guest in 2015, and he introduced me a guy named Dane Diesel. And then the following show, I actually introduced Sean August to the show, and he brought Raisha Falon. And then from then on, we just call ourselves the Hip Hop Squad. But then everybody keeps talking about the Only Hip Hop Show. And because when I made the social media, I just put the Only Hip Hop Show just for social media purposes. But people start calling it the Only Hip Hop Show. So Dane kept pulling me to the side. I was like, you might as well just call it the Only Hip Hop Show. And that's the name the name stuck ever since.
Yeah.
So, we have hosts come and go and all that. So, most of them are no longer on the show. So shout out to Aisha Nubian. She's actually one of my main co-hosts right now. And breaking news, the Only Hip Hop Show will be back on April 8th from 7:30 to 8:30.
Okay.
We don't have our guests yet, but we are having the Only Hip Hop Show on Friday night. So stay tuned for that.
How can people get in touch with you? How can they hear you?
You can actually Google me. I'm everywhere. Laron Pierce, LARON PIERCE. You can actually find me on Instagram, Facebook. Obviously, Laron Daviston is my name, so you can actually type in my name on Facebook. You can actually go on SoundCloud, just type my name there, Laron Pierce. For my pro wrestling stuff, you can actually type in Test Avalon, TESTAVALON. Test Avalon.
All righty. Guess what? We just happen to have a clip of the Only Hip Hop Show. Roll it, Tony.
Y'all some wrestling fans?
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. We gonna like talk some questions real quick before we get started, man. So who's your favorite wrestler?
We've been getting into this in the studio too.
Yeah. My favorite wrestler probably Randy Orton.
Randy Orton?
Crazy.
got his ass.
That's how I
kicked by
feel when niggas
Kofi
say
Kingston.
Kendrick Lamar is top 5. That's how I feel.
Y'all some wrestling fans?
Oh,
Excellent.
man.
Excellent.
Oh man.
You look like you got a great thing going there, Laron.
Yes, sir.
Oh my
Thank
goodness. Something else. Something else. What are some of you mentioned when you and I were talking the other day, we mentioned a guy that you know, Richard Epcar. You say you know this gentleman?
I don't know him personally, but
Okay.
I recognize his work, like from Digimon, Digital Monsters, Mortal Kombat's Raiden. I think some other stuff too, but yeah, I just recognize his work, which really brought me like to attention. Like, I actually wanted to get into voice acting because I've done music and I actually done skits before. Like I actually just recently recorded my 2 prayers. One for about my crushes and one for me to get my act together and be where I need to be in the position where I need to be and stuff like that. So I wanted to get into voice acting just to like imitate voices or like crack jokes or whatnot, or even doing PSAs or like even like narrating stuff like that. So
Yeah. What advice would you give people? Because we got a lot of people who watch this show and they want to get into what you do. What advice would you give them?
if you want to be a pro wrestler, if you want to be a rapper, if you want to be a radio personality, if you want to be an audio engineer, only thing I can tell you is just do it. If just put in your mind into it and be the man of your word and just follow through on it, because in life you either adapt or you perish. And that's one of my songs I actually wrote from Laron's Progression too. So adapt or perish. So, and I actually was at Johnny's funeral and I spoke highly about that because I watched wrestling in 2014 when Triple H, he just recently retired a week ago because of his condition. So he actually told the Shield, you either adapt or you perish. Because if you adapt to your ways and you change the person you are, you change your style of music, you change the way you interview artists. If not, then you will perish. You'll just be pulled to the side or you'll get stepped on, So you got to
see that attitude, right? Ladies and gentlemen, you see that attitude that he's espousing? He does that all the time. 5 years later, he's still the same guy that I met 5 years ago. He's got that smile.
Yes,
You
sir.
mentioned, you alluded to wrestling. Roll it, Tony.
TA is up in this place.
Wow. What made you get into wrestling?
Well, here's the thing. That's funny because like music and wrestling is always I wanted to do. And I watched wrestling when I was a kid. So I watched WWF at the time when The Undertaker was beating the crap out of his brother Kane at the time. And Undertaker is actually my idol. He's actually my favorite wrestler. One of my favorite wrestlers. It's also Kane. The Brothers of Destruction is basically like inspired me to wrestle and stuff like that. And the word test come from Test Avalon actually came from Andrew Test Martin. Fortunately he passed away in 2009. I admired his work because he was so underrated. He could have been a world champion at the time, but fortunately he passed away in 2009. And so I actually was watching wrestling a lot, and I played wrestling video games still to this day. And actually I got training tonight at Satino Bros Wrestling Academy. So I actually was at Satino's in 2017, went to their first show and actually like, you know what, I really want to do this. So Robbie Phoenix was my private trainer at the time in 2018 to 2019, because I left because due to some personal issues. And then I wanted to come back in 2020, but then COVID hit and the school got closed down. So here I am a year later, 7 months in, about to be 8 months in, about to be 8 months into training. So there's beginners, there's intermediate, advanced and then semi-pro. I'm already in advanced right now, you know, doing power bombs and gourd busters and Samoan drops and stuff like that. So it's pretty tough when you get in there. So like you have to like be physically fit. You have to like work out. You had to listen and be coachable. Especially autistic black man myself, like I'm learning to be more coachable and listen more, because a lot of times I wouldn't pay attention or like not like listen to the instructions that was given to me when taking these moves and, you know, learning these spots and stuff like that.
Got you. Unfortunately, Laron, we are out of time. We got to get you to come back again. I want to thank you so much for getting together again. I sincerely thank you for all you did for us at the Actor's Choice. I will never, ever forget you. Ladies and gentlemen, Laron Daviston, a.k.a. Laron Pierce. Bless you, my brother. Bless you.
Thank you, Ron.
Okay. I want to thank our sponsors, Harvey Brandman, Photography is an Art, Ron Irwin's Loose Life and Way to Lose Weight, Larry Buford's Book for the Future, and other members that we have. And much thanks to our guest today, actor, writer, producer, Tony Winters, writer, director, producer, actress, Jackie Quinones, and underground hip-hop artist, engineer, Laron Daviston, a.k.a. Laron Pierce. And of course, special thanks to our ever-growing audience. We say be well. We'll see you next time.